Spence Field is where the setting is for this story in the Great Smoky Mountain National Park. We're going to give a little bit of facts about the Great Smoky Mountains because this area is more of like a campsite, would you say?
Well, actually, just below this, we kind of have a description of what Spence Field is.
Okay.
It's like a highland meadow in the mountains.
Yeah, it's not the whole thing. So it's not 522,000 acres.
No, that's the park.
That's the park itself.
Yeah, Great Smoky Mountain National Park.
Yeah, so Spence Field, as Mike said, is a mountain high meadow in the Smoky Mountains. It's located in the southeastern United States. It has an elevation of 4,920 feet above sea level. The Appalachian Trail traverses the field, actually, and a backcountry shelter just off the trail provides an overnight stop for through hikers. For those who don't know, through hiking is where you do an entire trail, start to finish, with no breaks, essentially. So Spence Fields is a crossroads of sorts of the Western Smokies. The Appalachian Trail crosses the field from east to west and is joined by the Boat Mountain Trail from the north and the Eagle Creek Trail from the south. The Boat Mountain Trail connects Spence Field with Cades Cove, Little River Road, and Tremont. The Eagle Creek Trail connects Spence with the Benton McKay Trail and the Fontana Lake. Along the Appalachian Trail, or AT, Thunderhead Mountain is just 2 miles to the east, and Gregory Bald is just over 10 miles to the west.
I included those in here because in the search and rescue operation, we get a lot of detail, and a lot of these names will be mentioned in the search for Dennis. So
there will be a test later for the listeners.
There will be a test
where all of these places are.
Yes.
So if we didn't say already, this is in Tennessee.
We haven't done a case really this side of the country, other than New York.
Yeah,
Tom Messick.
Now you're thinking about it. Yeah,
this is like our first East Coast case.
I wonder, do you think it's like the visitors, or have we just not gotten to cases in this side yet?
I think there's just so many national parks in the west half of the U.S.
Yeah, good point.
Just more people go missing out
Or maybe
there.
there's more caves.
More caves.
To go along that whole theory.
That's true.
So this park was established on June 15th in 1934. It sees roughly 14,137,000 visitors per year. That was as of 2020.
It is the most visited national park, I believe, in the U.S.
I was going to say, that's a huge number.
Yeah.
That's the biggest number I think I've seen. So,
yep.
Yeah, the idea of me saying, oh, did not a lot of people go there? Immediately blown out of the water. Like, less than a minute after I said that. So, the local census, so there's more than 13,000 members of the East Band of Cherokee Indians that live in a 56,000-acre Qualla boundary, the eastern gateway to the Great Smoky Mountain National Park in North Carolina. Some interesting facts about the Smokies. The national park is the most visited national park in the United States. It's just rubbing it in now. The Smokies are some of the oldest mountains in the world. The Great Smoky Mountains are thought to be between 200 and 300 million years old.
Pretty old.
That is very old. The eastern hellbender salamander calls the Smoky Mountains home. It's the world's third largest salamander, coming in at 3 to 5 pounds, and can live in captivity for as many as 30 years.
It's a beast for
that's heavy for a salamander.
For salamanders.
Yeah, I've held salamanders before.
Growing up, we used to get them at my parents' house, but they were like real tiny ones.
And didn't weigh 5 pounds?
No, I would have gone crazy if we had a 5-pound salamander.
That's amazing. The first settler in the Smoky Mountains was a woman. Although William Ogle is credited with constructing the first home in the area, his spouse, Martha Jane Husky Ogle, first settled here. Unfortunately, William died before settling into his new home with his wife and children. The Smoky Mountains are home to the only elk herds in the eastern United States. I did not know that.
I didn't know that either.
I thought there was elk like in the Rockies.
Well, that's western.
Oh, eastern.
Yeah.
Okay. It is late.
Yeah.
And for those who don't know, I've been in Peru for like a week and a half. And it was, my brain's not working. So
yeah, it's later than we normally record.
Yeah.
So.
And I was late. Mike was waiting outside very nicely.
In the cold and rain.
Yeah, in his car. Temperatures have never been recorded above 80 degrees in the national park. That is actually a really cool fact. I did not know that.
Yeah, that's another one I didn't know.
I've been there in summer, and I guess, it wasn't that hot.
Yeah.
What is now Great Smoky Mountain National Park was part of the homeland of the Cherokee Indian tribe. There is no fee to visit the Smoky Mountain National Park, and there never will be. So let's talk about the climate. According to the Köppen Climate Classification System, our good buddies over at Köppen Climate Classification. I'm always going to refer to it like it's a building.
Someday we should get someone from the Köppen Climate Classification to
There
come on
probably
the
like
podcast.
isn't a thing.
Yeah.
It probably just like is like a system of measurement.
Yeah.
And there's like not a board or a group of people that determine it, which is how we talk about
Like
it.
a bunch of guys in shadows smoking cigars talking about the
just
climate.
like, what should we call this climate? So our friends over at Köppen Climate Classification System Network, the Great Smoky Mountain National Park has 2 climates types: humid subtropical and temperate oceanic. The humid subtropical air mass, typically in place over the Smoky Mountains, produces a large amount of precipitation. The annual precipitation range is from 50 to 80 inches, with heavy winter snowfall in the higher elevations. Flash flooding often occurs after heavy rains, so you got to watch out for that.
Yep.
The average highs are in the low to mid 70s. It never goes above 80, or it never has.
Yeah, and that's in June through July.
June through July, as would be expected. Those are the summer months. It drops down to low to mid 20s December through March. That's actually not as cold as I thought it might get.
Yeah.
That's not too bad. That might be good for winter hiking and camping.
Mm-hmm.
Strong damaging winds of 80 to 100 miles an hour or higher occur a few times each year around the Smoky Mountains, mainly during the cool season from October to April as a result of a phenomenon known as mountain waves. Did we talk about those a little bit in our Russian?
No,
I'm
that
blanking
was
on the name.
Steve Fawcett, or the Nevada Triangle.
Nevada Triangle, that's what it was.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, the Russian one was like energy weapons.
Yeah.
I think,
A little
it was-
crazier.
It was like hurricanes. I
Yeah.
think they said it was a hurricane, like a land hurricane.
Yeah, something like that.
It's like, I don't think that's how that works.
No.
But anyway, so strong winds created by a mountain waves were a contributing factor in the devastating Gatlinburg fire on November 28th, 2016, during the 2016 Great Smoky Mountain wildfires. Damaging winds can also be generated by strong thunderstorms with tornadoes and strong thunderstorm complexes, also known as mesoscale convective systems.
To get real nerdy there.
Heck yeah. I'm surprised I said that correctly. And I did say it correctly for anyone who says I don't.
And those that terrible Great Smoky
There's
Mountain wildflower.
Yeah, I know, right? Those high winds make those giant the devastating wildflowers. Like the 4 people that know how to say that properly, if I said it wrong, no one's going to believe them.
No.
And they don't listen to the show. The terrain. So the elevations of the park range from about 875 feet to 6,600 feet at the summit of Klingman's Dome. Within the park, a total of 16 mountains reach higher than 5,000 feet. I was there, and yeah, they don't have super aggressive ones. And they talk about because they're so old, they've just been worn down.
Yeah, whittled out. Yeah, like they don't get above usually. I think that the highest one is Klingman's Dome at 6,600.
Yeah, they get those high winds and just over the course of 100 million years, wear those peaks down a little bit. The wide range of elevations mimics the latitudinal changes found throughout the entire eastern United States. Ascending the mountains is comparable to a trip from Tennessee to Canada. Plants and animals common in the county's northeast found suitable ecological niches in the park's higher elevations, while southern species find home in the balmier lower reaches. The tallest peaks in the park are Klingman's Dome, as we said, at 6,643 feet. Mount Git.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
Oh, we're going to get in trouble for that
Yeah,
one. Someone's going to be like, I live at the base of that mountain. It's definitely not pronounced how you pronounced it. But anyway, that one's 6,621 feet. It is just 22 feet short of being the tallest. That's like me. I'm 5'11". I'm never going to be 6 feet tall.
Nope.
Just too short to be 6 foot. And Mount LeConte at 6,593 feet. So what are the types of dangers we see here? For animals, black bear is probably going to be at the top of the list.
Yeah.
Followed by the elk, eastern cottontail rabbit.
Vicious.
And if you've seen Monty Python Search for the Holy Grail, you have no idea what you could be coming across with that rabbit.
Yeah.
We're going to need the Holy Hand Grenade of Antioch to deal with that one. The red wolf, groundhog, red fox, coyotes, bobcats, river otters. We have white-tailed deer, gray fox, wild turkey, wild boar. So I'd say on those 2, in that list, I would say if I was going to order the top 3, I'd say black bear, wild boar,
Yeah.
and then like a
Bobcats.
maybe bobcat or like how would you even say
Elk.
like an elk? Yeah,
Yeah,
I'd say an elk.
elk.
If you piss an elk off, they got some. They could
Probably,
gore you.
I mean, probably be more afraid of the elk than black bears. I'm sure people get mad at us saying that, but
well, this is an opinion, so you can get mad at an opinion, but it is an opinion. Some other dangers. There's dangerous stream crossings. We talk about this a lot. You really shouldn't cross waterways unless you're secured somehow. Definitely don't have bags on you. But heavy rains cause very swollen streams that may be unsafe to ford. So you just got to use good judgment. Do not attempt to cross flooded streams. If your route is blocked by a rain-swollen stream, please backtrack and attempt to return to the nearest campsite or trailhead. Do not risk your life trying to follow a planned itinerary. This is big. We always say people can get swept away in a river. If you've ever been in a strong current in a river, it can like rip you off your feet. And if you're carrying bags that are strapped to you, you might get stuck and you get hit a strainer point, you can drown. It's not good.
Yeah, and I mean, if the river's wide enough, the water level can change pretty quickly if there's just been a massive rain.
Oh, yeah.
So you just got to be really careful.
Yeah, and it's only got to be like knee deep to really cause you some issues.
Yeah.
Especially if the water's moving. So,
and even if you fall and you don't get swept away, you're going to be soaked now. And if it's later in the year, now you got, cold issues to deal with.
Oh, yeah.
So
just when crossing streams, you wear shoes to protect your feet. Use a stout stick for added support. Unbuckle your straps of your pack so it can be discarded quickly. Do not try and save your stuff to save yourself. Treat all your drinking water. You can get giardia.
Yes.
You do not want that. It causes you to go number 3, which is a combination of 1 and 2, which dehydrates you much faster.
Yes.
I'm surprised of all the people I met. Like, I've never met a person that calls it that. And I always thought that was like a
Number
very
3.
Yeah,
that's pretty funny.
If you do 1 and 2, what's 1 plus 2?
Yeah,
it's 3. And as Mike mentioned, if you get very wet, hypothermia can be an issue. It is a cooler park. It does not get above 80 during the day, so it's going to be cold at night all the time. So you be prepared for sudden weather changes. All of that heavy precipitation we talked about will get you wet. Even if it is a warm day, as soon as the sun goes down, if you're not dry, you can start losing all that body heat.
Especially with the winds in the park.
Yes.
That'll really cool you down.
We haven't really talked about that ever, I think, but you're correct. If it's a windy day, it doesn't matter if it's a little bit warm, that wind will cool you off also.
Yep.
So encounters with bears. Bears in the park are wild and their behavior is unpredictable. Although extremely rare, attacks on humans have occurred, inflicting serious injuries and death. Just make some noise. Don't be obnoxious, but make yourself known. And black bears are scared little dogs. They will you probably won't even see them if you're making enough noise.
Yeah.
Another thing, this wasn't even in the list, venomous snakes.
Yeah.
So that wasn't in the list, but there are 2 species of venomous snakes. They live in the Smokies. Oh my gosh, I am having a rough time. The northern copperhead and the timber rattlesnake. Although very few snake bites occur here, visitors should be cautious when they place their hands and feet, especially around old buildings and stone fences. So that's a big one too, because it's cooler. They're going to be out on rocks and pathways more often to get get a little bit of that heat that they can, which is exactly where people are also going to be. So you got to be careful.
Yeah.
We'll talk about the difficulty. So our good friends over at All Trails, which is a business and they have people there, we know for sure.
Yes.
They list over 354 amazing trails to hike in the park, with trails that fit every level of experience and conditioning, with 52 listed as easy, 149 listed as moderate, and 152 listed as hard. Some significant hazards that you may have to contend with include streams, river crossings, precipitous cliffs, meaning slippery cliffs and ledges, unstable sedimentary rock, some dangerous wildlife, and ever-changing weather, including snowstorms and lightning.
Yeah.
So the following factors lead to the most backcountry emergencies in the Smokies. If you can avoid these, you'll have a great time. Failure to plan and prepare.
These are things we always talk about.
This is the stuff we always talk about. That's usually number 1.
Yep.
Inadequate footwear, clothing, and equipment. These are those city slickers we talk about. Shorts, T-shirts, and sandals with no water, thinking they're going to go hike in the backcountry and it's going to be great. Lack of skill or fitness type for what you're doing. Impaired or poor judgment. Sometimes this can be induced by fatigue, exhaustion, or hypothermia.
Or alcohol.
Yeah, that too. But I've hiked with some experienced people before that started getting onset hypothermia. They started making some pretty bad decisions. So that one can happen to anybody. That's why you got to make sure you're in good condition at all times. Failure to let family or friends know your plans, your route. What does we always say? Tell people your itinerary.
Yes.
And you have a much better chance of getting out alive.
Yes.
and failure to keep your hiking party all together. Do not split up.
That is by far, if you've listened to our show for this is our 71st episode, probably over 75 to 80% of the cases happen when the person splits off from the hiking group.
Yeah, and what's eerie about it is how quickly they go and how short of a distance some of them go, and they don't get found. So hopefully we subsequently scare you enough to not do those things. I would really hate to lose a patron supporter.
Yes.
Because they didn't follow our instructions.
I would say
because we care about you, not for the money.
Yeah, if you follow these things, it'd be, other than like a freak accident, you're very likely to never have, a serious issue out in the backcountry.
Absolutely.